Imagine standing in the presence of a man so deeply connected to God that his words carry the weight of a divine promise. What if a single moment, a single blessing, could transform your life forever? Today, we're sharing a story that will leave you in awe, a story of faith, perseverance, and the miraculous power of prayer. It's a story that begins with heartache and longing, but finds its way to hope through an extraordinary encounter with one of the most beloved spiritual leaders of our time, Pope Francis. Affectionately known as the Healer Pope, Pope Francis has touched countless lives with his compassion, humility, and unwavering faith. But did you know that miracles have been attributed to his prayers? Miracles that remind us of God's infinite love and mercy. This is the story of Hollywood actor David Henrie and his wife, Maria, a couple who faced deep sorrow as they struggled to conceive a child. Their journey was filled with challenges, but their faith never wavered. And then came a turning point, an invitation to Rome, an audience with Pope Francis, and a blessing that changed everything. What happened next is nothing short of miraculous. So stay with us, because this isn't just a story about a family's blessing. It's a testament to the power of faith, the intercession of the saints, and the miracles God continues to work in our lives. David Henrie. Many of you may recognize him as a talented Hollywood actor, known for his work on screen. But behind the bright lights of fame, David and his wife Maria were walking a very different path, one filled with quiet heartbreak and unanswered prayers. As a young couple deeply in love, David and Maria dreamed of starting a family. They imagined the laughter of children filling their home, the joy of watching little ones grow. But their journey to parenthood was far from easy. Time and again, their hopes were dashed by the silent sorrow of miscarriage. Each loss was a wound, not only to their hearts, but to their faith. David later shared how isolating those moments felt, how so many couples silently endure the pain of miscarriage without a community to lean on. For David and Maria, the ache of wanting a child and facing repeated heartbreak brought them closer together, but it also led them to seek answers. In their search, they began to educate themselves, to learn about their bodies and the intricate process of conception. They sought medical advice and explored every avenue they could. Yet, despite their efforts, their arms remained empty and their hearts grew heavier. But God has a way of weaving his plans in ways we cannot foresee. It was during this period of struggle that a surprising opportunity arose, a moment that would mark the turning point of their story. David received an invitation from a friend, an invitation that seemed like a lifeline, a chance to travel to Rome and meet Pope Francis. For a couple yearning for divine intervention, this was more than just a trip. It was a pilgrimage, a leap of faith. Could this encounter bring the healing and hope they so desperately needed? And so, with prayers in their hearts and a glimmer of hope, David and Maria packed their bags and set off for Rome, not knowing that this journey would change their lives forever. Imagine stepping foot into the eternal city, surrounded by centuries of history, the whispers of saints, and the weight of countless prayers. For David and Maria, this was more than just a trip to Rome. It was a journey of faith, a pilgrimage in search of hope, healing, and, perhaps, a miracle. When they arrived at the Vatican, the air was filled with a sense of reverence and expectancy. They were about to meet Pope Francis, a man who had already touched millions with his simplicity, kindness, and deep connection to God. Known to many as the Healer Pope, his prayers and blessings had brought comfort and, for some, extraordinary miracles. David and Maria couldn't help but wonder, could he be the answer to our prayers? The moment finally came. Standing in the presence of the Holy Father, David and Maria felt the weight of their struggles, their losses, and their longing. But they also felt something else, peace, as if God himself was wrapping them in his love. In a heartfelt moment, David gathered his courage and spoke to Pope Francis in Italian, pouring out their deepest desire. Pray for us that we can have a baby. The Pope listened intently, his gaze full of compassion and understanding. Then, with the tenderness of a spiritual father, he did something extraordinary. Pope Francis placed his arms around both David and Maria, drawing them close. He laid his hands upon them and prayed, a prayer not just of words but of faith. And then, with a reassuring smile, he said, "Don't worry. You'll have a baby soon." Those words, so simple yet so profound, planted a seed of hope in their hearts. It was as if God was speaking directly through the Pope, reminding them that he had not forgotten their prayers. In that sacred moment, David and Maria felt a renewed sense of trust in God's plan. The encounter with Pope Francis wasn't just a meeting. It was a moment filled with grace, one that would forever remain etched in David and Maria's hearts. Pope Francis' words were more than a blessing. They were a promise. In that moment, David and Maria felt an indescribable peace, a reassurance that could only come from above. It was as if God himself was using Pope Francis as an instrument to deliver his message of hope and love. As they left the Pope's presence, they carried not just his blessing, but a renewed faith in the miraculous. Their hearts were lighter, their hope restored. Little did they know, the fulfillment of that promise was already underway, a miracle that would soon be revealed. Sometimes, miracles don't arrive with thunder and lightning. Instead, they unfold quietly, in the gentlest and most beautiful of ways. For David and Maria, the miracle Pope Francis promised began to take shape just days after they returned home. With the Pope's words, "Don't worry, you'll have a baby soon," still echoing in their hearts, the couple felt a new sense of peace. It was as though a weight had been lifted from their shoulders. They didn't know how or when, but they trusted that God's timing was perfect. And their trust was not in vain. Not long after their visit to Rome, Maria began to feel changes, subtle signs that something extraordinary might be happening. She and David approached the possibility with cautious hope, remembering the pain of their previous losses. But when the doctor confirmed the news, their hearts overflowed with joy. Maria was pregnant. This time, however, felt different. The pregnancy was progressing well, with no complications, no signs of trouble. It was as though the very hand of God was protecting their child, a testament to the power of prayer and the blessing they had received. Exactly 9 months after Pope Francis's blessing, on a radiant day, their miracle arrived. Their daughter, Pia Francesca Henrie, was born, a healthy, beautiful baby girl. Her very name, Francesca, was chosen to honor the Holy Father who had prayed over them and given them hope when they needed it most. Holding Pia in their arms for the first time, David and Maria couldn't help but marvel at the journey that had brought them to this moment. From heartbreak and loss to the joy of a new life, their story was a living testament to God's love and the miraculous power of faith. But the miracle didn't stop there. Over the years, God continued to bless their family. Today, David and Maria are proud parents to not just one, but 3 children, Pia, James, and Gemma. Each child a reminder of the hope they placed in God and the intercession of his humble servant, Pope Francis. Their story is more than just a happy ending. It's a beacon of hope for all who struggle, a reminder that even in the darkest moments, God hears our prayers. And when we place our trust in him, miracles can and do happen. Now, let's hear from David himself.
You have a 5-year-old daughter?
Yes.
Pia?
Pia.
What a beautiful name.
Yes, it's a part of a favorite song of my wife and I, Pia, the Salve Regina. There's a beautiful part in there where Pia is mentioned, and my wife and I both absolutely loved that. Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Yeah, I hear when you guys were trying to have your first child, you're going through some difficulties, and you ended up in Rome?
Yes, with the Pope.
Okay.
It's a crazy story.
Tell us.
Okay.
So my wife was, we were struggling to have a baby, and a lot of people, we don't talk about miscarriages, and she had a few miscarriages, and we just thought,
sure,
okay, we're getting married, we're going to start having kids, it's going to be a wonderful process,
right.
And there was a few miscarriages, and we started learning about how to, conceive properly and what we need to do, and learning about the body and everything. Mm-hmm. And a buddy of mine had said, hey, I'm going to Rome to meet the Pope. Maybe you should come with me and we could see if we could get a special blessing. And I was like, that sounds amazing, getting to go with my buddy to meet the Pope to get a special blessing.
Yeah.
This sounds wonderful. Let's do it. So we fly to Rome. I got the moment where my wife and I were there with the Pope, and I said to him in Italian, Papa Francesco, per piacere, puoi pregare per me, mia moglie, per arriva un bambino. Just pray for us that we can have a baby, beautiful. Essentially. And
did you learn that on Babbel?
You speak Italian.
I was doing a translate right then and there. You know, I grew up in an Italian household. You know, sure. my mom's first language, and my grandparents immigrated here from Sicily, and he just put his arms around both of us, put his hands on both of us, and he said, "Don't worry, you'll have a baby soon." And he held both of our hands and said a little blessing. And I'm not kidding you. 9 months later, Pia arrived. Pia's middle name is Francesca, after Pope Francis.
Wow.
So Pia Francesca Henrie.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a good little story.
Did you send her picture to the Pope?
We should.
You should.
We should.
Yeah, you should.
You know, absolutely.
Let me know.
We need a follow-up visit, Pope Francis.
Close the circle.
100%. Yes, yes.
The story of David and Maria Henrie reminds us of a profound truth. God hears our prayers, even in our darkest moments. Through the intercession of Pope Francis, this faithful couple witnessed firsthand the miracle of life and the incredible blessings that flow from trusting in God's plan. Their journey, from heartbreak to the joy of a growing family, stands as a testament to the power of faith, perseverance, and the love of a father who never abandons his children. It's a story that inspires us to keep believing, even when the odds seem impossible, and to remember that miracles are not just events of past, they are alive and present in our world today. If this story touched your heart, we invite you to share it with others who may need a reminder of God's grace and the power of prayer. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and explore more inspiring stories like this one on our channel. May God bless you, and I'll see you in our next video.